Hi, welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to show you and talk to you about some way to improve your reading skill. So let's get started. So many people have trouble with reading. Reading well takes time, patience, and practice. The most important thing to figure out is the purpose of your reading. Looking at the instructions to build furniture or studying a textbook are not the same thing. Once you figure out your purpose, you can choose to focus on what you are known as intensive reading techniques that stress things like vocabulary and speed, or instead on extensive techniques that you will have you engage with the meaning of the text in a deeper way. So first, you make sure that you understand the types of text you have. Ask yourself, what types of work am I reading? Is this information-based, like a newspaper, textbook, or manual? Or is this more creative or artistic, like a novel or a short story? This matters. For instance, if you are reading to follow instructions like a recipe or assembly guide, you will need to understand the exact meaning of each step. If you're reading a text that has lots of information, like a textbook, then you will be reading most of all for new information on things you don't know or understand. Second, you decide on the purpose of your reading. The reasons why you are reading has the impact on how you read. For instance, reading a novel for a class can be very different than reading a novel for pleasure, since you will be expected to understand and remember the text rather. Just enjoying this experience of reading it and ask yourself, what am I reading for? If you're reading to gain information, for instance, to meet work or school requirements, you will probably want to try extensive techniques. If you are reading to practice pronunciation, learn vocabulary, or study grammar, you will probably want to try intensive techniques. 3. Scan your reading before you begin. Whatever the purpose of your reading is, taking a few minutes to look the piece over is very helpful. Check and see how the work is structured and presented. These are easy ways to increase your understanding. Does your work have a title? Is there a table of content you can scan? Is the work divided into separate sections? Does the work have any extras like bolded keywords, illustrations, or graphs? Reading intensively. First, you read intensively if you want to practice the fundamentals and learn vocabulary. Intensive reading is focused more on individual details of what you are reading. If you want to practice pronunciation, study grammar, or learn vocabulary, you will want to read more slowly and focus more on individual words and sentences. Second, look for just a gist of a text meaning. For its intensive reading is not always important to worry about what something means in a deep way, just trying to get a general sense of what the reading is about. As you read, you focus more on detail like spelling, pronunciation, and the rhythm of sentences. Don't forget to get caught in part you don't fully understand. If you can summarize the main points of what you're reading, then you're doing okay. Read out loud. This can improve your reading skills because it may you be involved with the text in two ways: with your eyes as you look at the words and with your ears as you listen to them. Reading out loud is also key if you're trying to practice pronunciation. 4. Try to guess the meaning of any new words. When you come to a word you don't know, try not to reach for the dictionary right away. Instead, you try to guess the meaning of the word based on the other words around it, the context. For example, say you read the following sentence and wanted to know that why pessimist means my mother is always happy and optimistic, the total opposite of my mother, the pessimist. From the sentence, you can gather the pessimist means that the opposite of happy, being moody and angry. 5. Write down new words you want to learn. If you come to any word that you can't figure out, write them down, and look up their meaning in the good dictionary. That way, you can study the words later. 2. Read as often as you can. The more you read, the easier it becomes. Practicing for at least 15 to 30 minutes per day, every day, will make a big difference. Read everywhere whatever interests you. You are just trying to improve your basic skill. Rereading things that you already gone through can build your confidence. Be thoughtful about the book you choose to read. PhD candidate and former teacher Soren Rosier says, The best thing to do to get better at reading is to read a lot independently. Look for books that you're interested in and thus are also at your reading level. If you're reading texts that are not too hard and you have to struggle through them, then you're not going to enjoy the reading method. Reading intensively. Try intensive reading if you are looking for understanding. Intensive reading work when you're trying to determine the meaning of what you're reading. This technique focuses on the overall technique. It's best for things like studying a textbook, reading a newspaper article for information, or reading a book for school. Take notes on your reading if you want to read to understand something on a deeper level, like studying a textbook. It helps to read more actively. Keep a notebook out and make notes on important things you notice as you read. For instance, you can make bullet points to summarize every time you come to major idea. My idea. If there are key terms or dates in whatever you're reading, make a note of those as well. 3. Annotate your reading. If you are able to write in or mark up whatever you are reading, it is you are reading. This can also help increase your understanding. For instance, you can underline or highlight important passage. You could also try circling key term and write notes in the margins. 4. Review what you're reading by summarizing it every so often. Every so often, stop and write a few sentences in your notes and summarize what you are reading so far. Putting the main ideas into your own words and writing them out in a way of checking that you understand that what you were reading, going back over the material, also have you remember what you read. If you have trouble summarizing or remembering any part of what you read, go back over it again. You can also try writing out a summary in an outline form rather than full sentences. 5. Identify keywords and concepts. When you encounter a word or concept that seems essential to a text meaning, make a note of it. If you are reading a textbook, these might even be set apart in bold print or in a separate vocabulary section. You can write a word or concept down to study them later or even make a set of flashcards. If you come across a word or concept that seems important but is not clearly defined in the text, look up its meaning in the dictionary or encyclopedia, either online or print. If you see certain words being used over and over again, that's another sign that you are important for what you're reading and worth looking up. Method: staying focused and motivated. Read with your friends. Getting through a text can be easier and more fun when you're not doing it alone. For instance, you can try reading the same section of a text as your partner when talking about it to make sure you both understood the main ideas. You can also share your thought and ideas to have you practice and know what you are reading. To improve reading aloud, you can even pair yourself with someone you feel is a better reader. While your partner is reading, listen to their pronunciation speed and read them. Take a turn yourself, then ask for feedback. 2. Choose the right reading environment. If you really want to concentrate on your reading, step away from television, music, phones, computer, chatty people. These distractions make it hard to focus, dragging out reading and causing frustration. Try reading in a quiet, well-lit place with a desk and comfortable chair if you can. 3. Use a pointer while reading if you have trouble focusing in a page. Take a bookmark, rules, and small piece of paper and set it on the page you want to read. Slide down so you can only read one line in the text, then move it down to read the next line, and so on. Doing this can make reading feel more manageable. 4. Read something you're interested in. If you have a choice, it's not surprised that you will be more motivated to read a text that you generally care about. If you're given a chance to select books or other things to read for yourself, seek out topics you are interested in.